Well, we are now, what, 1-5 to start the year. I still absolutely hate that this goddamn team didn't even give us, even 24 hours to at least somewhat enjoy last night's victory. So, there's food for thought right there. But what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Sports. The Phillies, they lose another game. They lose this series to the New York Yankees by a score of 4-2. I wouldn't say it was a full-blown pitcher's duel, even though I do believe Nola was definitely much better than he was on opening day in Texas against the Rangers. Looked a lot more consistent, was finding the strike zone way more often, was getting a lot more swings and misses. So definitely more on par for Nola. Definitely not where we need him to be, but still I do believe in the long run he will be fine. And this is definitely a much better step in the right direction. I do believe the first run he allowed in the game he kind of got screwed on just because of the home plate umpire. He was not good in this game at all. The Phillies looked, and the Yankees honestly too, both teams. They looked very frustrated with the home plate umpire. The strike zone was just not that good. And this is not saying the umpire was to blame for the entire game. I would say he really just, costed the Phillies one run. And honestly, he could have costed the Yankees one run. Honestly, maybe not. That was more of Gerrit Cole just, violating the pitch clock and Castellanos. That led to a walk in that instance. The Phillies did have bases loaded in the top of the seventh inning. You would love to see him score a lot more runs, and sadly, that just wasn't the case. Jake Cave, he gets a sacrifice fly. I thought that ball was going to go to the wall and hit off of it and score a couple of runs, but sadly, that wasn't the case. And then, Christian Pache, who was forced to play in this game because of a late scratch to Brandon Marsh with a left ankle sprain. So he's day-to-day, and there's quite a few injuries now. I would say the biggest thing to look at from this game, regardless of the play on the field, is just that, the injuries continue to pile up for this team. If you just look at the entire aspect, Marsh was the late scratch, like I said, with the left ankle sprain. It was not the ankle that he fouled the ball off yesterday. That was his right ankle, so I'm assuming today during warm-ups or something like that, he probably tweaked something, so he became a late scratch, so day-to-day, so hopefully he'll be ready to go for either tomorrow or Friday, depending on the weather, for the home opener back here in South Philadelphia. And Gerrit Cole has to leave the game early with a thumb sprain, I believe, because he hit a ball down the right field line, and just a terrible running decision by him because he should have known that Cordero out there in right field has a fantastic arm, and Gerrit Cole is slow as molasses. Should have even tried to go over there to second base because he hit the ball hard as ever, and it just went right off the wall, right into Cordero's hand, and it was just a perfect throw. Got him out by a mile, and then Hall hurt his thumb sliding into second base. So, now you're down two guys. You're down Marsh for a couple of days, and who knows how long Gerrit Cole is going to be out. I'm not sure if it's a sprain. I'm not sure if he maybe broke the thumb or something like that. I don't think we got any full word on what's wrong with Gerrit Cole, but now you lost the guy that was supposed to replace Rhys Hoskins, and we don't know how long he's going to be out for. So the injuries just keep piling up for this team. That's kind of really annoying. Josh Harrison, he was supposed to originally start on Monday, I believe, and he was a late scratch because of an ankle issue. And it's just, oh, God. I don't blame Topper because he was forced by his hand. Well, not by his hand. He was just forced to put Pache into the lineup because you have no backup center fielder for Marsh. So that sucks. And of course, Christian Pache had another goddamn chance with two runners on, and he pops up in foul territory. The dude can't make contact. Even though he did, it's just not good contact. Seriously, in that type of scenario, just try to get at the Trey Turner. That's the issue there, and then you pinch hit for Pache in the top of the seventh inning for Josh Harrison, and he's swinging at the first pitch, 2 outs, but the bases loaded, and he grounds out to the third baseman. Why are you swinging at the first pitch in that scenario? Try to work the count, try to get on base, draw a walk, or try to get it into the infield to maybe squeak it by the infielders, and try to work the count to get it to Trey Turner because him, Kyle Schwarber, they're going to be your best possible chances to drive some runs home. So that's the part that just really annoys me. And granted, the entire game, it's just, I'm not annoyed from the beginning parts of the game because you went up against Gerrit Cole. Even though last night I said Gerrit Cole is definitely prone to blowing up. But Garrett Cole, he was just on his game today, and he was absolutely nasty. He was dotting the strike zone left and right. He was throwing nasty off-speed pitches, striking out guys left and right. I can't be mad when you're going up against one of the best pitchers, and he dominated you. That's basically what the best pitchers in MLB do. They dominate the opposition, and that's sadly, what happened in this game. So that sucks. And it's more escalated just because you are now 1-5 to start the year. If you won one of those games in Texas, either the home opener or that Sunday night game, maybe it would have looked a little bit better, but still 2-4, 1-5. It's still, even though I said last night 2-4 would have looked a lot better going into Philadelphia this weekend. And the home opener, oh my God, I can imagine it's going to be, the fans are going to boo him. And rightfully so, because this start to the season just has not been ideal for everyone. It has not. Anyone has not been ideal at all. Injuries left and right. Starting pitching in the first, series against the Texas Rangers, besides Bailey Falter, the bullpen in that series wasn't good either. The first game in this series, the bullpen wasn't good. The series against the Yankees, that is. Yesterday, the bullpen and Matt Strahm were really good. In this game, like I said, I thought Aaron Nola was much better. Definitely not where we need him to be, but he still put you in a position to try to be in this game. So I thought that was the case. The third run that is on his stat sheet in this game was because Gregory Soto came into the ballgame and allowed a 2-run home run. And even towards the Gregory Soto home run, I don't even think it was a bad pitch that he threw. It was just, Trevino just made good contact of slider that's down and in. And if you look at, the stat sheet, hit it like 95 miles an hour, and that's just the benefit of playing in Yankee Stadium with a short porch and left and right field. So I believe if I looked at the stat sheet for that, it would have been a home run in I believe 7 out of the 30, 32 ballparks in Major League Baseball. So yeah, it's, that's the benefit of playing in Yankee Stadium when you have the short porch. Didn't hit it that hard, and you just got the luck of the stadium. So even though not really sure why Aaron Nola came out for a 7th inning of work, just because, I feel like it's not, don't have to force a guy this early in the year to go 7 innings, throw 90 to 100 pitches. I just don't think that's fully necessary in the world. If you're going to bring Soto in, I'd rather him come in for a clean inning. So far, the Soto experience, I guess it probably should have been what we expected at this point, even though it's not ideal at all. The first game in Texas did not look comfortable at all, walking guys left and right. His second appearance on Sunday night, he looked a lot better. And then tonight, the first batter against Cordero, he was, looked electric against Cordero. And then, Trevino just kept fouling off pitches, wasn't able to get the out pitch. And then just a slider, I guess that hung a little too much, even though I don't believe it looked like a bad pitch. If I look at the pitch track, it was, down and inside, way out of the strike zone. Like I said, I just think that's more good contact from Trevino more than anything on that aspect. But still, in that scenario, coming out of the top of the 7th inning, when you make it a 2-1 ball game, you don't want your reliever coming in here and just, allowing a 2-run home run to put you way out of it. So that sucks in the aspect of everything. Kyle Schwarber did hit another home run in this ball game, so that's back-to-back games with home runs for Kyle Schwarber. So hopefully he heard me from my, the first recap of this series against the Yankees, saying that, the lack of power has been really, a little bit concerning. Kyle Schwarber maybe needs to wake up a little bit earlier instead of, waiting for the month of June. So in both of those home runs, they definitely were no jokes. He crushed both of those balls from yesterday and today in the top of the 8th inning. So that's nice to see from Schwarber. Hopefully that means he's getting a little bit hot at the right time, because we desperately need that. And right now, we don't need all these injuries in the lineup. Even though we are getting good news, we saw today that Bryce Harper did take batting practice with Kevin Long, and he was crushing some balls into the seats. The next time he is going to take batting practice is either going to be tomorrow or it's going to be Friday, just depending on when they play the home opener. Most likely, my expectation, it's going to be tomorrow, just because the weather in Philadelphia, this entire area, it's not going to be good in the afternoon, basically right around when the game is supposed to start. So I do not expect them to play at all. The Orioles, they're supposed to have their home opener tomorrow as well, and they already postponed that just because of the weather that's going to be coming into the area. So Baltimore, Philadelphia, they're basically almost in the same range of each other. Baltimore's like a 2-hour drive away from Philadelphia, so I wouldn't expect us, Probably we won't hear it today or tonight. Maybe we'll hear it tomorrow morning, depending on what the status for the game is going to be. Still, like I said, I don't expect tomorrow's game to be played at all. I expect it to be moved to Friday. But it still sucks. It still sucks that 1-5 sucks to start the year. Just sucks. Didn't expect to be in this position, even though I'm not panicking whatsoever. But I'm irritated. That's basically the bottom line. I'm irritated. Because, like I've said many times in the past couple of recaps, like, there was so much hype going into the year. You're getting into spring training. You're excited for baseball to be back. And then, the injuries and all that stuff, even though I was still confident about the talent that was on the roster, I thought they would be able to hold up a little bit. But in these first 5 games, besides yesterday, it's just been a little bit of a well, not a little bit. It's been a major crapshoot. I know a lot of people were complaining about the scheduling. Why are they making us start on the road against 2 American League teams to start the season? It's just, you can't complain about that. That's the scheduling. You got to play the games that are in front of you. It just sucks. It really does. Maybe they just come home. Maybe that's all they need. Get away from the road trip. Come back to your home ballpark, which is going to be packed this weekend, regardless of you being 1-5 or not. Because all the National League Championship celebrations that are going to be going on this weekend with the banner celebration, the ring ceremony that's going to be on Sunday. So it's definitely going to be a packed ballpark every single day this weekend. So you got the Cincinnati, and your schedule does technically get easier over this next stretch of games. You play the Cincinnati Reds this weekend. Next week, Monday to Wednesday, you play the Miami Marlins, and then you play the Cincinnati Reds again for a 4-game set next week on the road. So this is definitely a good chance for you to get some more wins under your belt to make that record just a little bit better. And that's basically all I'm saying. Come back home, get comfortable, get your record to 500, and win some games here. Win a couple of series in a row here against Cincinnati and the Marlins. I know a lot of people are probably going to be demanding sweeps already. I'm just saying win the series at this point. We've been struggling to win games. I can't even demand series sweep. I'm just demanding win the series. That's all. You're coming home for the first time this year. Win a couple of series to make your record just a little bit better and find a way to build some confidence. The injuries, though, like I said, I feel like that's the more major takeaway from this game than anything, because right now we're just dealing with a lot of the injury bug. On the offensive side specifically, Rhys, he's gone for the year. Bryce Harper is most likely going to be back earlier than expected, but now you're down Marsh a couple of days. We don't know the situation with Derek Hall. So that sucks. That really sucks. Still, I don't find a way for it to be time to panic because it's only 6 games into the year. It's a lot of baseball left, but people still have a right to be frustrated. They still have a right to be irritated. I don't blame them for that. I'm irritated as much as the next guy. It sucks to be in this position to start the year. It really does. Still no room for panic. There's a little bit of concern, with the injuries. Even though the team did deal with injuries last year, and they found a way to get through it, but you're dealing with, Rhys out for the year. Harper's not going to be back until most likely mid-June, and just everything else. It just sucks. Ranger Schwarber is not going to be back until the end of the month. Andrew Painter, we still don't know the status of what he's going to be. So there's a lot of question marks. And if Derek Hall's out for a little bit of time, are we just going to stick with Alec Boehm at first base and Mundo Sosa starting at third base every day for the foreseeable future? Is Dave Dombrowski going to be accepted of that? I have no idea. I need to see on Twitter if there's any update for Derek Hall. That's the problem. I need to see if there's any update. I don't think there is an update on Derek Hall. I got to see. I don't think there is an update on Derek Hall. I don't think there is so far, unless no one's talked to anyone about the game, but I don't think there is any update on Derek Hall. So we probably won't find anything out until a little bit later after the game until they get back to Philadelphia. So that's probably the expectation on that point. But if we look at the game overall today, from the lineup wise, Trey Turner, he gets another hit in this ball game, so he has hit in every single game so far in the 6 games to start the year. So that's a 6-game hitting streak for Derek Hall to start the year. So he's not the issue so far with the offense. Kyle Schwarber definitely looks like the bat is heating up a lot more lately. He had 2 hits yesterday, including a solo shot, and he also has a solo shot in this ball game as well. He goes 1 for 4. JT Realmuto, been struggling the past few games. He goes 0-4 again with 3 strikeouts. Derek Hall, he did have that hit, but, it led to him running in the second base and hurting his thumb. Nick Castellanos struggled in today's ball game, so this series against the Yankees definitely has not been the best showcasing of Nick Castellanos. I thought he was good in the series against the Texas Rangers. This series is a completely different story. Bryson Stott, I would say the second best hitter of the team besides Trey Turner. It's been Bryson Stott. He's also hit in every single game to start the season. He went 2 for 4 today. He had a ground rule double. He had a single. He's batting .435. He has a .458 on base percentage, and he's slugging .565. So that's got to be an OPS of at least 1,000. So Bryson Stott definitely is hitting much better to start the season. Alec Boehm didn't register a hit in this game, but he did get on twice with a walk and a hit by a pitch. Jake Cave, he got on with a walk, and he also had the sac fly in this ball game too. And then, of course, Christian Pache was forced into the lineup because of the Brandon Marsh injury. And, of course, he had a chance with runners in scoring position, and, he popped up in the foul territory. And looking overall, Josh Harrison also had that chance with the bases loaded. Well, not the bases loaded, with 2 guys on, 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. And he swung at the first pitch, grounded out to third base, which is unacceptable. Overall, runners in scoring position in this game went over 3. Not many extra base hits in this game. You had 5, so that's basically probably the least amount of hits that you had in the game so far this season. Looking at the pitching staff, the Phillies only used 3 pitchers in this ball game. Aaron Nola, like I said, I thought he was much better in this game. Still not where we need him to be, but he still put you in a position to win. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 87 pitches. Gregory Soto just didn't help the situation, even though I didn't think the home run he allowed was on a bad pitch, but still you can't allow a home run in that scenario when you just made it a 2-1 ball game. 1 inning pitched, 1 hit allowed, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, 34 pitches, so a little one too many pitches to get out of that situation, and the walks are an issue for Gregory Soto still. That was one of the things on his scouting report when getting traded to Philadelphia. And also, like I said, that 3rd earned run charged to Aaron Nola, that was because of the Gregory Soto home run that he allowed. Because Aaron Nola walked the guy to lead off the inning. Still unsure why Rob Thompson let him come out for the 7th inning. I thought Nola was done after the 6th. Just let the bullpen come in with a clean inning and go from there. But Aaron Nola walked the first guy, gets taken out of the ball game, and then it leads to the home run. So that's what happens there. And then you get Sir Anthony Dominguez. He allows 1 hit, but basically regardless of that leadoff hit, it was a leadoff double too. He managed to get out of that situation without allowing a run. He only threw 11 pitches in that situation. So yeah, it sucks. It really does. Positives, even I can take positives out of this game. It's Trey Turner once again. Aaron Nola, like I said, I thought he was much better. Still, like I said, not where we need him to be, but it's a step in the right direction. And then Bryson Stott. That's basically, and Kyle Schwarber hitting another home run. But overall, it's another loss on your record. And that's not where it needs to be. Gregory Soto, like I said, he's early stage Jose Alvarado, like I've said many times, until this Phillies pitching staff can figure out a way, to get him fixed, to get him to fix the right way, like they did with Jose Alvarado. And we're going to see some of these appearances. We're going to see the appearances where he's really shaky, he's walking a lot of guys, and we're going to see appearances like he had on Sunday in Texas where he's dominant. So he has a track record of being dominant too. It's just, he has these types of games as well, and that's what the Phillies pitching staff really needs to figure out. But you're 1-5. Come home. That's all you can do at this point. Come home. Get it off your back. Coming home, sleeping in your own beds now. You have your home opener this weekend. 6 games in Philadelphia against the Reds and against the Marlins. At this point, it's a good chance to get some wins under your belt against teams that are not that good. The Reds aren't good. The Marlins definitely, even though they have a good pitching staff overall, they're still not a good constructed team. I also do think Jazz Chisholm got injured in the game today as well, so that's definitely a huge loss for Miami. But yeah, so looking at the upcoming schedule, I think the Reds game today also got postponed, so I think their pitching matchups are going to be a little bit changed coming into Philadelphia this weekend. So for either Thursday or Friday, depending on when the game is going to get played. 3 o'clock start, Cincinnati Reds, Zack Wheeler going up against Hunter Green now. Like I said, I thought we were going to be seeing him this weekend. Now with the Reds that they postponed their recent game today, now you're going to be seeing Hunter Green. He's a guy that can throw, 105, 103, 105, 104 miles an hour on his fastball. He's got some nasty stuff. He's young, so he definitely can be prone to blowing up, but, offense, it's your first game back home. I'm sure they're going to want to do something big for the people coming in to Philadelphia. Hopefully. Then you got Saturday is going to be Bailey Falter up against Nick Lodolo. And then you're going to have Taijuan Walker on Sunday afternoon against Ashcraft. And then for the Miami Marlins series, it's going to be Matt Strom against Sandy Alcantara, Aaron Nola against Luzardo, and Zack Wheeler against Cabrera. Monday and Tuesday against Miami are 6:40 starts, and the Wednesday is a 4 o'clock start. And then you go on the road again for 7 games, 4 games in Cincinnati, and 3 games against the Chicago White Sox before you come back home again to play Colorado and Seattle. And that'll basically wrap up April, even though the last series in April is a series against the Houston Astros. So, yeah, definitely a tougher schedule to start this year, even though you do have a much better next 3 series here against, Cincinnati and Miami. But then you play Chicago, you play Seattle, you play Houston, you play LA. So the schedule is definitely tough for this team, and they got to find a way to weather the storm. The injuries definitely aren't helping, but they got to be playing better. They got to play much better. Starting pitching's got to be much better. It can't be Matt Strom and Bailey Falter being your best starters in the rotation. That just can't happen. And overall, your offense needs to find a groove. I think the offense overall is going to be fine the rest of the way. Dave Dombrowski is going to do his due diligence, whether, what's going to happen with the Derek Hall situation. I don't think he's going to be out long term, but who knows how long he's going to be out depending on what the thumb injury is. And then, what else? It's just very frustrating. Overall, it is. It just is. I don't know how much more to describe it. It's just very frustrating. None of us expected to start 1-5 on the year. I do think overall, like I said, there's no room for panic. It's just infuriating. It's irritating. It's everything. Just show some life to start the year. That's what we want to see. That's what we just want to see. Even though there's a lot of weird things going around baseball, the Mets have been getting pounded by the Milwaukee Brewers these past 3 games. Well, the past 2 games. Even though I do believe right now they're tied against them 6-6. But the past 2 games for the Mets, they got shut out and blown out by the Milwaukee Brewers. So there's definitely a lot of weird things going around baseball. I think the Braves, they swept the Cardinals. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they swept the Boston Red Sox. There's definitely a lot of weird stuff going on around baseball. So it's not just the Phillies, but still 1-5 is 1-5, and that's unacceptable. The Tampa Bay Rays, they're still the only undefeated team in baseball that is left. So that was definitely something that was unexpected, even though I did expect the Rays to bounce back. I didn't expect them to start the season undefeated. I also do believe the Houston Astros are off to a slow start this year, too, if I look at everything. Let me see. Let me look at the American League. Yeah, Houston Astros, they're 2-4 to start the year. The Seattle Mariners, they're 2-4 to start the year. What else? What other teams? Blue Jays, they're 2-3 to start the season. The Cardinals, they're 2-4. The Brewers, they're 4-1. The Pirates are 4-2. The Padres, they're 3-3. So, yeah, there's a lot of weird records so far around baseball, and that's probably what's going to happen in the first couple of weeks. Like I said, I do expect this team to be fine. It's just the fact that, 1-5 to start the year, it's frustrating, especially with all the high expectations. But I do believe in the long run they're going to be fine. I'm going to keep stressing that for the long run here, probably for the first few months. If this does continue, hopefully it does not. I don't expect it to, though. I do think coming back to Philadelphia will do a great deal of service for these guys. Just getting back in your own ballpark with these fans, because we all know how, hot this team can get when they're playing in front of a packed stadium. So, yeah. Oh, and I think it's way too early to be even talking about playoffs. It's 6 games into the season, man. I do still think they're going to make the playoffs, though. I don't think 6 seasons decides if you're going to miss or make the playoffs in a regular season. It's 162 games for a reason. Like I said, if you're looking around the standings, the Cardinals are 2-4. Are they not going to make the playoffs? Are the Houston Astros, they're 2-4. Are they going to make the playoffs? Not say the Boston Red Sox, they're not good. Who else? The LA Angels, they always have a hot start to the year. They're 3-2 right now. they always shut down at the end of the year. So the Angels, I don't expect them to make the playoffs. The Pirates, they're not a good team. They're not a 4-2 team. They're not going to keep up that pace the entire year. They're eventually going to come back down to earth. The Cardinals, they're eventually going to come back up to earth. They're not a 2-4 team. Pace the entire year. Who else? The Padres, they're going to be better. Yeah, it's way too even early to be mentioning playoffs. Just think about this. Think about this. If the Phillies went on a 1-5 stretch in the middle of like the beginning of July, after a stretch of maybe winning a couple of series in a row, we're barely batting an eye. They just went out on a road trip and they struggled. That's basically bottom line there. If we're looking at this in July, we're barely batting an eye. Okay, they struggled, come back home, and bounce back. The fact that it's the first 2 series to start the year, that's why, it's more looked at. If it's in July, no one's really caring about it. You just, move on with your business and bounce back when you come back home from the road trip. I still don't blame anyone else for being infuriated. It's like everyone has the right to be infuriated. I'm infuriated too. It's just that, I'm trying to put it in perspective. You know what I mean? If this is in July, we're barely caring about this. But since it's the first 2 series to start the season, that's why everyone's looking at it more harshly. So, we just got to see how this team does when they come back home. So, that's what we got to wait for. I think the Braves win it all and putting money on after the stream. Okay, Kev, John Stone, if that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do, my man. It just seems that there is not much life with our team. Yeah, they don't look like they have life in them right now. I don't know what the reason is for that, but they don't. Is that World Series hangover? I have no idea. They're about to get booed at the home opener, honestly. I don't think there'll probably be some people booing them, but I don't expect them just with all the festivities that's going to be going on. There's quite a lot of one-tool guys on this team. I don't know what you mean by that. Pache needs to retire. Harrison hits that a tad harder. That scores 2 runs. Yeah, you can also say that. But I still don't think you should be swinging at the first pitch with bases loaded and 2 outs. That's just my opinion. World Series hangover. That's what it is. Yeah, I could see that. Not a fan of Castellanos. I'd trade him for Marte from the Orioles. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think the fans will boo them, but it is all of it. If the Reds, if the Reds take an early lead on Zack Wheeler, there's gonna be some boos. Should be no less than 3-3. Yeah, I would say 3-3 is way more acceptable. 1-5 is unacceptable, in my opinion, regardless of World Series hangover or not. Bring up Scott Kingery. Oh God. I want to see if there's anything else. Looks like the Brewers beat the Mets. So the Mets just got swept by the Brewers. So there's more, tie into the weird start to the year. So the Mets were what now 3-3 to start the year. So there you go. A lot of teams are starting getting off to weird starts. One tool hitting can't steal a bag. Field hit for power. What do you mean, Kev? What do you mean one tool? I don't know what you mean by that. Team, what do you mean can't steal a bag? Trey Turner can steal bags. Bryson Stott can steal bases. There's a lot of guys with speed on this team. Kyle Schwarber can hit it for power. Trey Turner can hit for power. Who else? Brandon Marsh hit a home run yesterday. He can hit for power sometimes. Brandon Marsh can steal bases too. Alec Boehm, even though he only has 1 home run in the year and he still has to prove for us, he can show us that he can hit for power. Castellanos in the past has proven over his career that he has hit for power. I don't know what the reason is for the struggle in Philadelphia. Derek Hall can hit for power. It's just a lot to ask for to replace Rhys Hoskins. So I don't know what you mean by one tool. If you can explain that to me, Kev, I'd be grateful for that. But yeah, just a lot of weird things going on around baseball right now. Definitely is. like, what are the Oakland? Even the Oakland Athletics, they've only played 5 games so far. I thought they were an above 500 team from the look of it right here, but they're not. Trey's an exception. Any concern with Bohm getting thrown off by getting moved around positions now? Numbers haven't been good the last few games. Now, I think Bohm overall would be fine. Sometimes he has his ups and his downs. Every player does. I think Bohm will be fine overall. But if now with Hall out and he's going to be playing first base more often, Bohm's going to be fine. But right now, he just needs to prove to us that he can hit for power more often. He had the 2 hits in the first game against the Yankees. We had 2 walks today, technically. He's always getting on base. The past couple of games, he just hasn't hit the ball. I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Like I said, Trey Turner. Trey Turner, Bryce, and Stott. I would say Alec Bohm, too. Been our best hitter so far. Kyle Schwarber, 2 home runs in the past 2 days. Looks like his bat is heating up a little bit, so that'll be good news, hopefully, moving forward. But just overall, you need to get wins. That's all you got to do. Got to get wins. Mike Trout, Ronald Acuna. But not every team has a Mike Trout and a Ronald Acuna. I don't know what you mean by that, Kev. Not many players in Major League Baseball are 5-tool players. So, not even going to argue that. Not even going to argue that because I think it is about time we end today's stream. So, I do appreciate everyone for joining as always. So don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. I appreciate that. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It does me a great deal of service. Get us for, closer to 800, closer to 700. And once we get over 700, we get closer to 1,000. Also, drop a like on the video. It'll do great for the YouTube algorithm. Does me a great service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Get them for any upcoming Phillies home game, or if you want to go on a road trip, or if you get some Sixers playoff tickets for your hand. So, it's a great deal. Don't pass it up. Thank you everyone for joining today.